Gonna meet, would you have to meet, would you have to meet?
Good evening. I'm Mary Eckert. This is a regular board meeting with the Clay Township Board, 6 p.m. in the community room at the John Hensel Government Center. I'm calling the meeting to order, and I ask you to rise, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I am going to,
We do not have a recognition of an outstanding citizen tonight, so go to the next order on the agenda, which is the approval of minutes from the April 24th board meeting. Do I have a motion on that?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next, we have public comments,
Mr. Morris.
and we have Eric Morris.
Hi, Eric Morris, thank you. This issue still has not, the issue I raised last time with the taxation rate on certain items within Fire Fund 1111 has not been resolved to, I think, any real satisfaction. It's still the line items, fire contract and communication center, the first two lines, those are perfectly acceptable, especially per the contract, the annual contract that the township signs with the city to be taxed only on the unincorporated portion, home place. But I still dispute that fire station repairs and maintenance, township outdoor warning signals, Carmel Fire Department physicals, liability property insurance station 43, 44, and maintenance facility, promotional programs, and construction. Those line items under the budgeted spending 2018 under 1111 are only being taxed on the unincorporated portion right now, on home place. Those line items below communication center should be taxed uniformly throughout the entire purview of your jurisdiction, from the White River to the county line, all of Clay Township. And yes, I have the fire joinder, and it does mention the lease purchase payments, but it still confuses me that dividing that and saying that any cash payments are coming from home place only, correct, Doug? I mean, that's basically what you're saying. If you were not...
that fire fund, 1111 that you have, that is monies that come from the unincorporated part of the township.
Only, correct.
Excuse
Okay.
me, I don't mean to interrupt you, but this is in a dialogue. He's going to
You're
be
right.
talking to
Don't
us.
mind.
What
Okay,
you
sorry.
say to us, then we'll go to the
okay.
attorney, because you've already had a conversation with him, and we appreciate your being here.
I haven't had a conversation with...
Well,
the
when he
neighbor.
was here, you did, but
Well, we did, we
we
got a little...
don't answer public
Yeah,
comments.
okay. So I'm sorry,
Thank you.
excuse me, I'm sorry. Sorry, Doug, to put you on the spot like that. What I received from, I think, Ms. Stino and Doug, and what you received in your email last week, basically verifies what I kind of thought was happening, is that 1111, all those items are being taxed on home place only, and that only two of those line items, again, fire contract and communication center, should only be the only portions that are taxed only on the unincorporated portion. The rest should be taxed township-wide, including home place, but it should be taxed township-wide. So that is really the crux of where I'm going, is that I don't think these are improper or that you don't have the power to do this. It's just, it should not only be taxed on home place itself. So I'm still working, or still looking for some kind of resolution. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming. We'll be talking to you again, I'm sure. The next order of business are under action items, the Carmel Clay Public Library Board member appointment. Doug?
Yeah, I got this from the library. Alan, no, never mind. Let me-
About Raj?
Right. Yeah, it's time for a new appointment. It's time for a reappointment or a new appointment by the board for the park or the building. I'll get this straight sooner or later. The Carmel Clay Public Library's appointment. You guys have one appointment you do every 4 years. It's coming up in July for that appointment. And so they recommend the person, Ranjit, to continue to serve, but it's up to you folks. If you want to make a change and make somebody else, that's strictly up to you. That's a board's appointment.
I would move we reappoint Raj.
And I would second that.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. I do want to say that anybody who wants to do this and is successful at it and has a passion for it ought to have the opportunity to be reelected or reappointed, and this gentleman sounds like he is a passionate advocate of the library.
Thank you. The next order of business is the Carmel Symphony Orchestra Special Grant. Is someone from the symphony coming tonight, or are you?
I thought Alan was, or is he out of town?
He's in Thailand.
He's in Thailand. so-
Man,
So let's table this till he's back. If I would move we table this till he's back.
till June?
Yep.
Yes,
Okay.
okay.
I would second that motion.
Any discussion about it? I'll call for the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Information items. This is a big one. Carmel Redevelopment Commission project. Are you introducing, Doug?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm trying to write and everything. Yeah, I wanted to, okay, what do I do with it? Did you guys have that? So I just wanted to introduce Henry here from the Carmel Redevelopment Committee. What he's going to do is he's going to go over what Carmel has in the works for the next few years. And I thought it might be interesting to have him come in and kind of share it with you folks.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're delighted you're here. Thank you very much for coming.
And Henry, you might want to spell your last name. I'm sorry.
Yes. It's Mistetsky, spelled, I feel like I'm in the way of the PowerPoint, so I don't need this microphone. I can just tell you.
Yes, you do, because it has to be recorded, so somehow we.
All right, so am I actually in the way of,
No,
Yes,
here, here.
well, you're
Well,
right.
you're in the way, but we'll read through you. It's okay.
Here,
No, no.
because the pictures are nice, so,
No, we should see him. I've heard about this. I've heard about this. You see what Carmel's gonna look like.
Oh, yeah, that'll work.
stand here.
Yeah. You can stand here, or you can stand. There you go. That's one of the.
I need to let, okay, how about here? Is this okay?
You're still in the corner of it.
Okay,
It's still bad, okay. I can move the podium.
this way. How's that? Will that work?
Is this any better?
Much
Yes.
better, yes.
Okay. Okay, microphone. Thank you. So I am Henry Mostetsky. I am the director of the Carmel Redevelopment Commission, and I am here to update you on essentially the city's redevelopment projects that are currently going on, and some of the things we have coming down the road. So. Huh. Because I have one PowerPoint, we're gonna have to go through the what's been done so far. But the pictures are nice. So since Mayor Brainerd's election, I think a lot of focus has been paid to our central core, and I certainly always love looking at the pictures of what was there before in the Arts and Design District. This picture specifically is Main and First, and it really puts things into perspective because the intersection sign is still there, but everything else is different, and kind of lets you know what we started from, and certainly what was done before I got here. Am I in the way? Sorry. I feel like I'm still in the way. Is this
Just in front of the name of the streets.
okay?
Yeah.
I'll do this. So this is the intersection of Main and Range Line again. These are public-private partnerships that the city has been entering into, where we leverage the. Can you see?
Well, I can't read the building. I just asked him if he knew what the older building was.
Yeah, it says upholstery shop, the upholstery shop. I think that was around.
And that was on the corner?
Yes.
That was Main and Range Line southeast corner.
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
Thank you.
Southeast corner, that's right.
The old theater is just south of that wall.
Yeah.
Yep. And so this is really Mayor Brainer's vision to do public-private partnerships, to essentially leverage the TIF as a vehicle to drive a lot of private investment as well. This is a picture of the Indiana Design Center compared to the Payless Liquor Store that was there before. This is one of my favorite pictures because really all that's there is the Solano one. I think it was still the bike line at that point. But literally nothing else. And if you happen to enjoy our winter market and ice skating, right as everything else is built out, and a couple projects are coming online just now still, it really, and certainly there's a roundabout there at this point, but it certainly paints the drastic change and really the economic development driver that area has become in terms of tax revenue generated. This was just a few years, decade plus, but in the timing of cities being built not too long ago, it was just all farmland. And so this is just pictures of what Carmel has built out in the past. So kind of what's been happening with development here in just the last few years, I kind of want to go through. So the first being the Monon Boulevard trail and expansion. This is a trail that's being widened from just the Monon itself, which is just a few feet across, to a 140-foot section that includes, this is here for perspective, so it essentially will stretch from 6th Street up to Main Street. And this is a joint project between the engineering department and the Carmel Redevelopment Commission, where we help with the design and engineering helps with the build out. This has started, but essentially what we're looking at is you have boulevards with parallel parking on both sides. You have dedicated bike lanes both on the sides of the streets and also in the middle, with the middle being a linear park that the Parks Department is going to take care of, that has both pedestrian walking paths and let's call it slower bike path, along with a kind of like a bike highway, if you will, I'm one of those people that certainly enjoys going as fast as I can on the bike, but once you get really into our central core, you shouldn't, because I also take my little kid and we go walking on the trail just as much, and I don't want the fast bikers to be next to me. And this is Carmel doing our best to kind of provide for our citizens and enhance really, which is what is a huge economic development driver for the city already.
Does the Parks Department know they're taking over it?
Yes.
Because I haven't seen any new agreement. There's a management agreement for the Monon, but this far exceeds what's in that agreement. And will they be getting additional funding to take care of all this from the city?
We have met with them. They do know they're taking care of it. I don't have answers for you on the other items. So the Monon Boulevard is going to have art, but also really places for people to interact. This is so what we're looking at here is over there on that side is 6th Street, so we're going north. The Monon is going to feature art. This is going to be a playground for kids. And as we head north from that view, over here at 3, this is going to be a splash pad for kids as well. We spent a lot of time with parks because they have a lot of expertise with splash pads specifically. They have a few. And we, just a couple weeks ago, we sat around and discussed the specifics of splash pads that I had no idea about. It's fun to learn about it, but it's really interesting stuff. Public art, and 4 I'll show pictures more of, but that is the Midtown Plaza area, and I'll have further pictures of this as well as we keep going. So as you head north, then what you have is, again, continuation of the linear park, and then over here on this side, that's Main Street, and that's the Monon and Main project on the north side of it, and I'll have pictures of that as well. So this phase is already being built out. The phase just south with the plaza is being built out, and bidding for the remainder phases down to 6th Street. I think the bidding's going to happen the next couple of weeks. We hope to have this done by early 2019.
Is that on the the east side? Are you talking about the Monon on the east side building that way, or is it coming to the west?
So this is the Monon. This runs north-south between 6th Street and Main Street, and it's being widened on both sides from what it is now to a much larger area. And I'll have pictures of the new developments that are shown here. So some of these are existing developments, some of these are new. This is new, this is new, this is new, this is new. So at the same time that the Monon is being built out, new 5-story apartment and corporate headquarter buildings are going up at the same time. It's completely transforming an area that was previously brownfields, essentially. So I'll get into some different districts of the city. First being Midtown and Arts and Design District. So this is Monon in Maine. It's a project that's coming. It's the Chuck Lazara project. It will include Anthony's Chop House, which will be a steakhouse at the bottom level. On the top level will be, and you've probably heard about this already, a rooftop lounge, which is really the first of its kind here in Carmel. I think something that's important for what we're trying to build, which is attracting all sorts of people to the area. Carmel doesn't have, in order to get young professionals to move in or to continue having move in, aside from providing them plenty of places to work, which I think Carmel is doing pretty well at, you also have to provide them a certain amount of something to do after 8 o'clock, for example. And a rooftop lounge is certainly one of those things, especially with the views that they'll have here at this location. So this is a start. We're trying to build an area that is really for everybody and for all times of the day and evening. I think they have the townhomes on the site are at almost $1 million price point, and they've sold all but 2 already. So,
In the Lazara building?
yes,
Townhomes?
yes. It has an office component. It has a multiple restaurant component, and there's a townhome component as well. And those have all sold all but 2. So I expect the rest of them to be sold as well. So as we keep going down the Monon, I want to talk further about the Midtown area, which we call the West, the East, and then some of the other undeveloped land is owned by Petcor. It's fun to show what was there before. I mean, truly, and I think most of you have seen these before this all started, brownfields and industrial, one-story industrial buildings, not a lot of tax base, You've probably heard the mayor speak about what our what is now Main Street, but the Old Town area was before, which was there were flooding issues. It was kind of run down. There wasn't a lot to draw people in, and the homes were selling at a fairly low price point. And the public-private partnerships done by the Redevelopment Commission, really vision of the mayor, has now turned it to a point where $1 million houses are being built in the area, and everybody wants to live there. And this Midtown area is just an extension of that. So you've seen these announcements already. This is part of the Midtown North area. It includes 1,000 jobs for Allied Solutions, and the CRC specifically used the revenue generated by the new corporate, by the businesses coming in to build the parking garage. Again, one of our focuses here is to not build garages that look like garages, because this one doesn't. From afar, it looks like another office building, which is certainly a positive. The grand opening of Allied was just earlier this year. There are other office tenants in this complex as well.
May I ask a quick question?
Yes, absolutely.
The garage under the Lazara building that is being built, are there going to be trees across the street from the garage or $1 million homes?
Yes, we're in the final stages of having that planned out. I've met with multiple neighbors in the area, including the Flex, and showed them plans that are coming. And the focus is going to be a very nice facade and trees, and really something that is beautiful to look at. But also maintains a sort of, let's call it, residential character of that street. This is, again, we're looking at this being the Allied Solutions building I just showed, but the focal point here now is the Midtown Plaza and Sun King, a distillery, which I think just 2 weeks ago announced 4 new restaurants that are coming in to serve food there. This is all expected to open at the end of May, maybe early June. Midtown Plaza is being built out now, and we've made sure that there's access to all the buildings even as the construction continues, so there won't be any interruption to business or for patrons. It's just a really exciting area because usually this takes decades to build up, and the mayor's vision was able to drive this investment within a couple of years, and it's going to be here and all fully open with daytime jobs and evening amenities, and really a plaza with plenty of programming throughout the year. It's a big economic development driver. As we keep going south, just south of Midtown Plaza is MJ Insurance. This is a corporate headquarters, I believe, that came from Indianapolis. This is a same building just being built. And again, this is all along the Monon as well.
And they're building those right now?
Yes,
There are
those are.
3 buildings that are about to go up.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. These are being built. So it looks like it's 3 buildings, but it's, or it is. So here at the bottom is the Midtown Flats. That's a J.C. Hart apartment complex. So that's the most south. That's closest to 6th Street, or a future 6th Street, if you will. Just north of that, facing the Monon, is the MJ Insurance building here in the center. Facing Veterans Way, behind MJ Insurance, is the Midtown South garage that the CRC is building as well. Again, it doesn't look like a garage, which is a big deal to us. One of the important drivers of important goals here that we push developers is that the building has to look good from all 4 sides. There's not a back to a building, because there's going to be, you can envision in the future, first floor retail as much as you can get, true walkability, true bikeability, a true urban core in a suburb, and an economic development driver for the city. This just across the street from the Midtown Plaza that I referenced earlier. The groundbreaking, or not groundbreaking, cornerstone ceremony for this was just 2 weeks ago. So this is a 1,000-job Merchants Bank headquarters, next to the water tower, and just north of that is a 200-unit Baron Stokely apartment complex. There's a garage component to, well, first, all these buildings. Merchants has a garage as part of it. The real interesting, or what I think is a really cool thing about the Baron Stokely apartment complex is there's a garage in the center of it, with residences completely wrapping the garage and on top of it as well. So again, the focus is we're going for street activation on all 4 sides of the street, and that is not, traditionally suburbs don't have that kind of leverage. Traditionally towns say, yes, please build anything and we'll give you as much money as possible, and that's not the kind of power that we get to use here in Carmel. We want true, beautiful 4-sided architecture from new development. And again, not one of these projects is surface parking a component. Everything is garage parked. Yes.
Are those 2 buildings included in those 3 plots that are being developed right now, or are those in additional area?
So if we go back here, this is the Allied Solutions building.
Okay.
This is the distillery. This is the plaza. This is a garage with Monon facing retail. This is the MJ Insurance. And by the way, this isn't to scale. This is just a very old picture, but it does a good job. This is the MJ Insurance. Like, they're much closer than this and much bigger, but this is the MJ Insurance building, the garage, the JC Hart project. With this being the plaza just across the street, the 2 new buildings that I showed, the Merchants Bank building is right here, and the apartment complex is right here. And it's worth pointing out that just on the other side of Merchants Bank is a water tower and a communications tower. And how often do you get to build a 1,000-job, beautiful corporate headquarters next to a water tower? Not very often. It's usually not the space that they go for. But here, the water tower is part of the area. It's part of the plan, part of the feature.
It
So
looks a hell of a lot better now than it did.
Yeah. Is the mayor going to put flashing lights on it? He told me that he went down the river, the Seine River, and he saw the Eiffel Tower with the lights. He said, I think I'll put those on the water tower.
I don't know about that plan just yet, but I wouldn't be opposed to it. So we'll just head into the city center. Most of you are familiar with the area. Kind of the timeline of as you've seen buildings go up, and I'll show pictures of this further, but the big parking garage is certainly there already. Petcor headquarters continues to be built out, and as we go along, we'll get into Baldwin Chambers. I'll show a picture, but that's being built right now. You can see it off Range Lines where Cake Bake Shop is going. The Kent building site work has started, and we're now into Playfair Holland, Hotel Carmichael, and the other buildings I expect to start all this year as well. Veterans Way parking garage. This is a 700 space, more than 700 space garage that is part of the city center project. One of the interesting things about this is, again, it doesn't look like a parking garage. It looks like a building. And to the extent areas of it look blander than others, because those areas are going to be blocked by other buildings. So the part from the street that you'll see at the garage is, I mean, beautiful things like that. This right here is called Hamilton East. It's on one side of the garage. This is residential. So for perspective, over here is the Nash building, and Range Line is on this side. On the other side is this, and there's going to be retail, first floor retail going